Let's go for it!
Where the hell have you been?
Hey everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave here, host of The Dark Stuff. Thanks a lot for checking out my newest video. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done a video. I've been kind of, I don't know, a lot of shit has gone on in the last month and a half since I made my last video. I mean, I've been working a lot. This is the busy season for me. So I work all the time, and a lot of times when I get home, I just don't feel like doing anything except like vegging out and like staring at the TV or whatever. I haven't been watching many videos, so sorry I haven't been commenting on other people's videos. I'm trying to watch, sometimes when I watch them on my TV, I just don't, it's not convenient to comment, because you can't comment right on the screen, so it's like I mean to do it later, and then I kind of forget what I was going to say. Anyways, then I got a really, really nasty sinus infection in the middle of all that took me out of commission for about 10 days, so I was just doing, so anyways, long story short, it's been kind of a rough month and a half.
Every year of every day, thousands of people fall victim to FWP.
I'm so cold.
Starving.
Nobody cares about me.
Also known as first world problems.
I'm so cold. Somebody set the AC to 72.
I'm finally getting a little bit of time here that I wanted to get this video in, because some of this stuff I've had for a little while. This is just gonna basically be some recent pickups. There was an Omaha Record Show over a month ago that other people here in Omaha have posted about, but I didn't get a chance to do it. I got a couple of good things at that. I've made one or two trips to the record store, and before I get started, I just want to show this record that I picked up from another Esme Patterson record. This is the demo of her song Francine, and she makes these. She has her own lathe, and she cuts these records herself. And so she even wrote on the back, you know, I cut this record on a lathe, December, Colorado, 2018, and then she signed it on the back. So I'm pointing this out, one, because I just got it, but two, because I'm going to go see her again tonight. So she's playing at this place called the Sydney, and I'm going to be going to that. I don't know what I'm going to do vis-a-vis filming or whatever, because I've already done a bunch of videos of her, and it's not like some devoted channel, so maybe I'll show like something real quick, but that'll be about it. Anyways, that's the first record that I'm going to show. So I mentioned the Omaha Record Show. It was back at the beginning of June, and it was decent. This time, again, you know, they're very, very hit or miss, and sometimes I just lose patience with it. You know, I start looking, and then I'm just, you know, after an hour and a half, I'm just like, I don't know. And I kind of just wrap it up at that point. Sort of what I did in this case, but I did get a couple of notable things. First of all, I got this Bangles 7-inch from Manic Monday. I like everything with the picture sleeve with the Bangles, so that's pretty cool. Got that. I picked up another comedy album from Red Fox. It's just called The Best of Fox. The problem with this one is it's a decent record. It's from 1958, but this was an attempt to like be able to play Red Fox on regular mainstream radio. So this is not the dirty stuff. This is any routine that they could cut from Red Fox that was clean enough for late 1950s radio. They assembled on this record, so you could, in theory, hear him somewhere on the radio with this stuff. So, although it's not as good as the other ones I've gotten, because I've gotten some of those like dirty records from the 50s, 60s, and stuff. It was still funny, but it's less raunchy even than Sanford and Son, you know, and which was the 70s, I guess.
You big dummy.
Got another copy of the Plimsolls Everywhere at Once. This is anyone with a new wave record collection has this one. It has A Million Miles Away, one of the most classic songs of the 80s. I paid $3 for this. Decent copy. I actually didn't have it. I thought I did, and then I don't know. I was surprised to find when I went and checked. It's like, no, I don't have it. I mean, I've never been really a Gary Numan fan. He's not somebody that's ever really done anything for me. Everyone in the world knows that song Cars, and he's considered by a lot of people to just be like a one-hit wonder. But I know a lot of people who don't agree with that and who are serious Gary Numan fans, including one of my good friends here in town who thinks Gary Numan is one of the greatest artists of all time and constantly talks about TUBEWAY Army, which was the beginning of his career. So I saw this and decided to pick it up. Replicas, Gary Numan and TUBEWAY Army. And with Our Friends Electric and songs that I've heard a little bit. And I got this basically because, you know, that friend of mine and I are good friends, but we don't agree on much musically. I mean, he's really into that late 70s, early 80s, the synthy stuff, likes Human League and whatever. And I just think that stuff's like, okay, you know, the hits are all right. I don't need anything else beyond that stuff. Well, Gary Numan's coming to Omaha in October. Of course, my friend just instantly bought tickets. Him and his wife were going to go. But then he says to me that a lot of times what his wife will do is the day of will be like, yeah, I'm not going to go. So I'm the backup. So if his wife does flake out on the Gary Numan show, I'm going to go. So I will be able to see him because I think it's about better than 50-50 that I'll be at that show. But the first reason why I got into this record, the reason why I bought this one in particular was because this buddy of mine and I saw this band called Teen a couple years ago in Omaha at the Waiting Room. And they were amazing, and I have a couple of their records, and I really like them. But I didn't realize at the time, I knew they had kind of an 80s vibe, a synthy vibe. He was like, this is the TUBEWAY Army. This is the sound that these guys are mimicking or doing or recreating or inspired by, whatever you want to say. And I'm like, okay, well, that made a mental note. And then when I saw this, it was like, yeah, okay, because that band Teen is pretty awesome. Okay, I bought this 24/7 Spies, Harder Than You. It was like a late 80s, all-black hard rock band. A little bit of hip-hop in there, but mostly just kind of a hard rock band. I hesitate to say, well, they're just like Living Colour, because that's not fair because, you know, Living Colour was one of many bands at that time, and they certainly weren't the first. They were just the most successful and in my opinion maybe the best. I mean, I thought they were pretty awesome. But anyways, 24/7 Spies, I remember getting this back in the late 80s and thinking these guys were pretty good, and somewhere along the line I lost the CD, but I picked this up and I played side one and I was like, wow, this does not hold up at all. This was not good. Whereas Living Colour still sounds awesome. I mean, I was just listening to their third album, Stain, just a few hours ago. In fact, I played a track off their record, a song off that record called Auslander on my radio show recently. This just sounds very, very dated, very weak, and again, it's not fair to just compare them to Living Colour or some other black rock band. They are weaker than a lot of white rock bands, and they're better than some white rock bands. I mean, they're just, I remembered this like really kicking ass and hitting hard, and I was like very disappointed when I played it. I used to have this when I was a kid, Adamant, Friend or Foe, great album. Goody Two Shoes was the hit off this one. So was, though, it was Goody Two Shoes, Desperate But Not Serious. Great album. This particular copy played quite a bit, a little bit beat. I paid $5 for it. I'm thinking I might have gotten taken a little bit. Maybe it should have been more in the $3 range, just because of it's just played to death, you know, no skips or whatever, but it's just played to death. Those last two records and then the rest of them are all picked up at, I went to Almost Music, so I didn't grab those at the record show anymore. Now we're on a different tip here. I picked up this album from Cheap Girls. Okay, it's called Giant Orange. This is a Detroit rock band. They got their album, it's a gatefold. Now these guys did a record, this is 2012. They had a record in like 2016 that I thought was really, really good, and I played it a lot on my radio show, and it made my top 20. But I never went and looked back at the rest of their stuff, and so I decided to grab this because it was used. was like $8. You know, not bad. It's on white vinyl. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, produced by Tom Gable. I'm like, who is that? The name sounded very, very familiar, like very familiar. And I'm just like, Tom Gable, who is that? Why does that name sound so familiar? And I had to Google the guy. And then I'm like, oh, okay, Tom Gable. Tom Gable doesn't exist. Tom Gable is Laura Jane Grace, the singer of Against Me. And she is transitioned into a woman and used to be known as Tom Gable. And it's a testament to how much that transition has taken effect, because I forgot the guy's fucking name. I mean, now I've known her as Laura Jane Grace for 5-6 years. 4 or 5, I don't know how many years it's been. But anyways, point is, the transition has taken full effect because I did not remember at all who Tom Gable even was. You know? Weird how that works. Okay, also at Almost Music, I got this Urge Overkill 12-inch for Sister Havana. Kind of cool, with a track called Operation Kissinger on the back. That's the B-side. It's got the 2 versions of the LP, 2 songs off of the Saturation record, Sister Havana and Woman to Woman, and then it's got Operation Kissinger from Urge. I've had this album from Joe Jackson since the late 80s. It's called Big World. Came out in 1986. And I always loved this record. One, the songs are just great, but also the way it was recorded, in that it was done 100% live in front of an audience, but it was not a live album. It was 100% new material. And the way they described it, they sold tickets to this auditorium. The band was going to play the album start to finish. They asked that nobody in the crowd make any noise during the songs and refrain from applauding until there was absolute silence from the band, until every single instrument trailed out to nothing. And then you could do your little clapping, and then you could move on. So it's a great album, and it just shows how tight that band was at this point. Probably, in my opinion, the last good Joe Jackson record was this, like truly good. He's had singles and stuff since then, but I think that was pretty much the end of me being like a major fan, of just being like, oh yeah, it's Joe Jackson again, you know. But this was the end of it.
But I would never blame you if you would never stay here.
Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to show in this record is a record called Know Better, Learn Faster from Tao with the Get Down, Stay Down. And I've talked about Tao on this channel before. Now she's Tao and the Get Down, Stay Down. This is Tao with the Get Down, Stay Down. That's where they were on Kill Rock Stars. Tao gets like loosely billed as alt folk or whatever, and I guess you could say that, but she's just got this like punchy, upbeat kind of alternative music with folkiness to a certain extent. But she's just a great singer, and her sounds are like very different and original sounding. And I've seen her play live before. She's very good. So I never went backwards and heard her older shit. And this is from 2009. I think it's her second album, and it's really, really good. I mean, top notch, my friends. And well, that's pretty much it for the new stuff that I've gotten. And since I was out of commission for so long, I didn't shoot any video of anything else really going on. I've got some changes and maybe some things that are going to be happening at the channel. I'm going to refrain from announcing about it until I know a little further what's going on. And I don't know. I hope to be able to get back to you sooner than I did last time. It's just been really, really rough, and I'm just trying to find the time is a Herculean task, if you know what I'm saying. All right, everybody, take care. Hope to be seeing you soon. Bye-bye.